staff so that we can not only ensure that they are made whole, that we are mitigating the damage caused here, maximizing the value that is returned to customers, but that we ensure with stringent regulations and procedures in place that this does not happen in the future. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and I yield back.
Gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Bud.
Secret exemption from certain aspects of FTX.com's auto liquidation protocol. Can you expand on these practices and what more you've learned since the bankruptcy filing?
That's essentially what happened in a nutshell.
Another question, if FTX.com was domiciled here in the US, fraud on a massive scale. Not a see it flourish right on our shores under proper often out of reach of proper American oversight.
Gentleman from New York, Mr. Torres, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When you read the bankruptcy filing, one gets the impression that FTX had the corporate governance of a college fraternity. In the bankruptcy filing, governance by Moji sounds like a recipe for misuse of funds. It seems to me that Mr. Bankman-Fried has a mutually beneficial relationship with FTX. He used FTX as a market maker to generate liquidity and trading volume for FTX, and then use FTX as a lender to generate leverage for Alameda. And that incestuous relationship was not When FTX was seeking a bailout, FTX circulated to investors a balance sheet. Needless to say, the value of a Serum token depends on the value of FTX as a company. An asset, I think of something that has value independently of the company. Just like a corporation has its own stock as an asset. It seems to me no crypto company should have tokens as assets, because if the company collapses, so does the token.
Well, in terms of tokens generally, I'm not really making a judgment
FTX reportedly holds $900 million in liquid assets and it's $9 billion in line based on media reports. And it's been reported of the liquid assets, the largest among them is about $500 million in Robinhood stock. According to the Financial Times, the Robinhood shares are controlled by a foreign entity called Emergent Entity, which is said to be personally controlled by Sam Bankman-Fried. So the largest liquid asset, the Robinhood stock, who controls it? Is it you as the FTX CEO or Sam Bankman-Fried?
Sam Bankman-Fried does not control the asset. That's an asset of the estate.
During the New York Times Steelbook interview, Mr. Bankman-Fried said that he knew that there was a problem on November 6th, yet despite knowing what he knew on November 6th, on November 7th, he proceeded to tweet the following statement, quote, FTX has enough to cover all client holdings, leading the public to believe that there was no problem. In your view, was he telling the truth or was he lying?
I don't want to give the dignity to his comments. He also said that he had $10 billion to invest in the company that day. So.
Let me ask the question differently. At that time when he sent out the tweet, leading the public to believe that we have enough to cover all client holdings, did FTX actually have enough liquidity, enough assets to cover their liabilities?
Absolutely not.
So that statement was false.
Yes.
And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
The gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Gonzalez, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Ray. I want to start with Alameda and some of the loans. So Alameda took out loans from various counterparties, is that correct? Not just FTX?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, were any of those loans called?
We're going through the corporate history of what was repaid, and some of those loans, in fact, I think were repaid, but they had counterparty positions with a lot of those companies as well.
To your knowledge, were customer funds transferred from FTX to Alameda for the purposes of paying off called loans?
That's certainly possible. I mean, we need to investigate that further, but that's certainly one of the paths that we would potentially find.
Thank you. And then in your testimony, you described the use of computer infrastructure that gave individuals and senior management access to systems. That's the, I'll turn this the backdoor that we heard. One of the things that Sam Bankman-Fried has said is he had no knowledge of commingling of funds. which you've said will have unlimited access at Alameda, essentially unlimited access to the FTX customer accounts, fund their investments. In your eyes, is there any way that Sam Bankman-Fried or senior management wouldn't know about this sort of thing?
No.
Thank you. Now shifting towards the goal of the bankruptcy proceeding, which is to find the assets and return those assets ASAP. That's the goal that we all share. Part of that, of course, is having the data and a paper trail that will allow you to recreate transaction history, figure out what the assets are secured. How would you characterize the quality of the record keeping at FTX and Alameda?
Ultimately, we hope the raw data is there. If we expertise that we have, we will be able to assemble it. It'll be time consuming because it's raw data. The jumpstart we normally have in companies, we just don't have starting from zero.
Do you have any evidence that suggests that data was willfully destroyed prior to your arrival in the company?
We have imaged the Slack environment that the company had, and we are aware that certain forms of communications with disappearing messaging. So there's absolutely risk of loss there.
Okay. One of the things in Mr. Bankman-Fried's testimony that has leaked, that wasn't submitted, is he spends a considerable amount of time talking about Binance and how Binance effectively created their own bank. So, is your belief that FTX was solvent? I think so. That's pretty much all I have for questions. One final thing I'll note, also in that testimony, there's some accountability for the millions of dollars from customers. You lose your freedom and you lose access to a whole bunch of things that otherwise you should have. So just a simple reminder for everybody that that's what happens. Final question, actually, I do have one minute left. You mentioned $100 million that was transferred to 1,500 Bahamian accounts prior to bankruptcy. I've been asking you to say. Suspicious.
Obviously, it's alarming. We watch out. Try to keep up with one thing, follow the money. So we'll see. We'll investigate who received that money and what the circumstances.
Thank you, and thank you again for being here. I wish you luck in
One of the things that kind of stood out for me is how much FTX spent on celebrity endorsements and arena naming rights, really targeting residents like myself and others, in my community. Naming rights of the Miami Heat arena naming spent like $135 million. NFT partnerships with Golden State Warriors and Washington Capitals. I think $210 million sponsorship of the Mercedes. I don't know, something along the line here. Endorsements and ads with Tom Brady, Naomi, Stephen Curry, Larry David. It goes on and on. Do you know the total amount of FTX, how much they spent on sport endorsements and arena naming rights?
We don't have a full assets or anything, so we need to accumulate full value of I've seen some stories about that.
Thank you very much. The gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Rose, is now recognized in 9 minutes.
Thank you. you, Chairwoman Waters, and I would also thank Ranking Member McHenry for holding this hearing, and thank you to our witness, Mr. John Ray, for lending his expertise to this committee to examine the collapse of FTX. Mismanagement of funds, the use of complex margin, and collateralization of certain digital assets, and of course, alleged fraud. The timing of the events of the last 12 hours is certainly interesting. As a recovering attorney, it makes me wonder why a prosecutor wouldn't want to potentially add lying to Congress or to accompany the list of charges against Mr. Bankman-Fried. It also makes me wonder why the SEC waited until today to file its own charges. Frankly, Chair Gensler has failed at his job, and worst of all, he has failed to protect investors, which is one of the key components of the SEC's tripartite mission. Similarly, while he has been asleep at the wheel, the Democratic majority has failed to have him to testify before this committee for over 14 months, which I believe is a disservice to investors. I hope that in a few weeks that we in the new Republican majority will finally start to hold the Biden administration accountable for their failures. Now, I see my time is limited, so I will dive right into my questions. Mr. Ray, it is my understanding that FTX and Alameda hold a number of digital assets, including more than 30 billion of Tether USDT. Can you describe the efforts that you are taking to ensure that unwinding FTX in the bankruptcy proceeding won't cause unnecessary negative impacts to these digital asset markets?
At this stage,